Have you been watching that Mormon Wives show?
Yes, I'm completely up on it. And I interviewed 2 of the girls.
All right, so let me tell you, I'm completely not up on it.
Well, you know you're part of it now.
Can you tell us?
What do you
You're
mean?
talking about the cousin, the genealogy,
And
right?
you're related.
Oh, so Sheena texted that to me, and I said, I want no parts. I want no parts. I got through 3 episodes. I told myself I'm going to give it another shot. So I got through half of the second episode that I left behind, picked it up, watched that, got through the 3rd episode, and said, I cannot do it.
Why?
I don't find it interesting. I find it cringy. I find it to be, I just am not. Everyone else is into it.
No, I don't
Everyone
think that's
loves it.
not necessarily true because, like, you know, I have like a group that watches these shows and we talk about it on my Facebook group. And no, a lot of people felt exactly the way you did. Like, I don't get the hype. I got them all. And that code, I was able to figure out how to watch it. Okay. I was able to figure out the passcode. So I was watching them, and because I was going to interview them, sometimes when you have to watch something because you're going to do work, it feels a little bit like work. So at first I thought it was a little bit about working. Just when I was about to give up on it, I was like, oh my God, I have more episodes to watch. And then it kind of was getting good.
Okay.
But I get what everyone says. I get that they all look alike. It's really hard to keep them
That's
apart.
Utah. That's Utah. Everyone looks the same. They've all got like the inserted, you know, those teeth that you wind up and they go,
Yeah.
that they all have those mouths. So when I came out here and people were like, your teeth are amazing. I'm like, not even. Go to Utah and it's like, ding.
Yeah.
Murder
Why?
mouths.
A lot of dentists?
A lot of dentists, a lot of teeth whitener people. It's
I think
just,
it's also like clean living of Mormons. Like, I remember when they, you know, rescued all those Mormon kids from like whatever
what?
that horrible guy's name was.
Oh,
Jess.
Warren Jeffs?
Yeah. And they were like, oh my God, these kids, they're so polite. They're just asking for like raw apples and carrots and no processed food and generations of no drinking and I mean, I do think that kind of gives you a healthier glow, whether it's your teeth or your skin or your hair or whatever. It's good,
True.
clean, inbred living.
Oh, no.
You said it.
Just
yes.
kidding.
No.
Well, a lot.
I think
So
that's-
speaking of inbred, okay, so there's this girl, and I interviewed her, and she was very cute. And her name
What's her
is
name?
Jen Affleck. And they made a big deal. They would say, all the girls, here's Demi, here's this. They would never say anyone else's last name when they'd bring them up in the show. She's married to Zac Affleck, who is they described it as a second cousin to Ben.
Okay, so
and
it's
Ben Affleck's brother.
Affleck, not like Affleck, not the duck,
Yeah, like
the actor.
yes.
Got it.
And so I was like, well, that's interesting because, you know, Ben is famously from Boston. I'm assuming his family is Catholic, who somehow married a Mormon along the road to then be Mormon. Like, I was just curious about that part.
Okay.
So I'm asking her, and she's just kind of like, oh. And so I was like, so wait, is it like a grandparent of Ben's is a sibling to a grandparent of, or a great grandparent of your husband's? Like, I was just trying.
You were putting the family tree together.
Anyway, turns out they're not related at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
That's what genealogy people are saying. They're not related at all. They just have the same last name. She had said that they had never met him, but I'm like, well, yeah, I haven't met a third removed cousin either, you know? And so then they said, but he's related to Lala.
Let me tell you something. I don't even fucking claim my first cousins. All right. So I ain't claiming a fourth 3 times removed. I told Sheena I want no parts of it. It's weird. I don't claim it. I don't want it. Take this package home, Reed.
Well, there's also talk that she might be separated from him now, the girl, because he came off very poorly in the show.
Is
They
it
went-
his hair? His weird, wafty hair?
It was that he seemed quite controlling, and he got real weird when the girls went to Magic Mike or Chippendales or whatever, and in Vegas. And they went at like 6 o'clock. It was like light out. They're drinking their sodas. I mean, it's pretty fucking tame, but whatever. But you know, he's one of those guys that, which is like the complete opposite. I went to Thunder Down Under, okay, when
Yeah,
I was in
so
Vegas
good.
before my
Right.
show. Not only was I pulled up on stage because I made sure, I was going to be pulled up on stage.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, when they did it on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it was Sutton being like, it's not about the pants. You know, she wore pants. I wore a skirt. I was like, let it be seen. I had little hot pants on, but I wore a sexy dress.
Yeah.
Okay, so then.
Hold on. Did you wear cartwheel pants? That's what they're called now. Cartwheel pants that you wear under like a dress. I learned
it's like a little power short. So it's like sucks you in a little, but it's also like little like.
It's so
like
if you do
cheerleading
cartwheels,
shorts. Yeah.
Cartwheel short.
nothing shows. I
Right.
just learned this because Ocean, I have to send her to school in cartwheel pants. So you wore a skirt, but you had on your
sexy
dress
with
sexy
some black
dress,
like little, you know, spandex shorts. But
cartwheel
full
pants.
butt, full coverage. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. So keep going.
And so the guy pulls me up, and he had like long hair, which has not ever really been my jam.
It was the guy we interviewed, La.
No, was it Magic Mike
Thunder.
or
Thunder.
Thunder?
Thunder.
It was the guy. We had him on the podcast. I think, a video.
Was he huge? Was
He
he
was-
massive?
Oh yeah, they're all like huge.
Long hair. His name's like Ben, I think.
I wouldn't know.
She didn't get his name.
Less. Like I was just another, you know, older drunk lady. Like he was like, get me off this shift, right? So then he pulls me up, and we're doing all this stuff, and we're filming it. Julie, Brandy and Julie are filming it for me because then we're going to do a live show in Vegas, and I wanted to show that video just for those people. So you know, he is on the bed, and then it's like weird because it's like. They're thrusting it, but they're, you know, he's not hard. So I've never had like a guy, I never felt like a non-hard dick like that close to me.
I think that they do something to it so that he doesn't get a hard on.
I think it's like a gyno doesn't get hard, you know?
It's like
Well, some do,
professional.
they're gross. But most are like, you know, come home from work and see their wife and are like, I'm about to see another one. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a gyno.
All we know is it was flaccid.
It was fine. It was fine. But it was fine. It was a funny video. So then on top of that, I then have my 21-year-old son. He had to then edit the video of his mom. And I'm like, God, your made-for-TV movie about your childhood is going to be like so
Was it
good.
Drake?
Yeah, Drake was doing it. And so I'm like, he's like cutting it, da-da-da. And then I show it to Peter. He's like, oh, okay. Like the most non-jealous.
Peter's her
And meanwhile,
husband.
my husband Peter. And meanwhile, this Mormon guy is like, you're not the wife. You're not going to make it to the celestial heaven with me. I'm like, oh my God. She's crying. She's like, I was just trying to be on a reality show. Like, so people didn't like him. Your cousin.
Okay, your cousin.
Fuck you.
Which
He's not my cousin. I'm not claiming him.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You have such a passion for not claiming him. And I've seen comments of people being like, she's such a hater. But then you made a good point to me off air. You're like, I experienced a lot of not weird shit during childhood. You saw and heard a lot of weird stuff about the Mormons because your mom came from that family. So explain.
No, not my mom.
Oh,
my dad.
Your dad.
My dad. And I did not like the way that my dad's family treated him because he left the church when he was 22. I just what some people when they watch that show, the Mormon show, what they think is intriguing and wild, I experienced from my family members and the judgment and what it does to a female's mental state. And how they sit there and they have to please the husband. They're usually controlled. They don't have minds of their own. They're submissive. They're subservient. It's really fucking sad. So I want no part of it.
Well, I will say this about the show. All the girls are divorced.
Yes.
Everybody's on their second husband, which I find very confusing about such a strict religion because I'm like, how is it that everybody can get divorced 2 and 3 times and then, oh, but you just have to get some paperwork done by the head temple people? I'm like, what? Like, come
You
on.
have to get a temple divorce.
Yeah,
if you don't get the temple divorce, you're together.
Like you get to heaven and they're like, I'm sorry, your paperwork's not in. So you got to be with the first husband.
Exactly.
And you're like, the asshole, I did it when I was 20. And they're like, yeah, you didn't fill out your paperwork right.
And keep in mind, they can also, when you die, someone can go in and baptize you and put your name in the church. So they just like are Mormonizing all of these people who never wanted to be Mormon after they're dead in their grave.
That's wild.
It's just absolute insanity. And the one girl who's like battling with the main girl who got pregnant by that quack.
Taylor and
What's the other one? The blonde, short hair.
Whitney.
So she's married.
Whose husband was caught on Tinder.
And addicted to porn.
Just a little slip there. It was Tinder, so come on, everyone, settle down. They're pregnant again, and she's the one that did the dance. Do you know about that?
The dance?
Tell us about the dance.
Don't know about the Whitney's dance?
No, tell me.
Whitney's scoop was juicier than the Taylor scoop, because the Taylor scoop is that she did side swinging, or no, soft swinging.
What is that? You make out and like jack people off. You don't let them insert you.
Yeah, it's not full penetration.
Okay.
In front of your partner?
But I think she did it behind his back, which it then became cheating.
Oh, so not.
Then so it was a group of people that were like, basically it started with like spin the bottle, whatever. Then they were like doing stuff with each other.
These are grown people, by the way.
Yeah, like
Okay.
they put their kids to sleep, and then they would be like, she said first it was like, the husbands were like, you girls should kiss. Then it was like, we should kiss each other's partners. Then it should be like, we should have sex with our own partners, but in the same room. Then it should be like, let's switch and just dry hump each other's partners. And then two of the guys that she was dry humping with got feelings for her. And then she couldn't understand why those wives didn't want to be her friend anymore.
That's when it gets weird, when you get feeling.
She exploded it on TikTok.
That's when it gets weird, Jessica.
When you catch
It's weird
feelings.
once you put the kids to bed and you're playing fucking spin the bottle and you're in a grown person's backyard hot tubbing, but it's his parents and you're drinking out of a fucking flask and you're like, don't let his parents see. It's like, you're 29. You're 29. You're 20 fucking 9.
This is what happens when you're
It
suppressed.
angers me. Okay, so that's what happened.
Then she, woke up in the middle of the night and read a Reddit that they knew that she was a swinger. And she's like, well, I better clear it up on TikTok. So then she gets on TikTok, and that's where she does the famous one where, these girls that you see me dancing with our long locks and stuff in our, matching homes, we are actually soft swingers. So then everyone's like, who's the swingers? So then they get the reality show, but the girls that were involved in the swinging were like, we don't want to be part of the reality show because we don't want the world to know that we were soft swingers. They are all since divorced, those women too.
Yeah.
So they kind of cast or found other girls that were into TikTok that would want to be part of the show. So you're watching this show and I'm like, and the whole time I'm like, who did she swing with? None of the cast did she ever swing with.
I will say this is the one thing that stuck out to me apart on that show. It was episode 2 or 3, and Amy with the bob, the porn addicted husband's wife. What's her name? Amy? Whitney. They're in the kitchen baking cookies with the mom, talking about the vibrator and if she should do the ad.
Right.
And she's like appalled because pleasure can become sinful quickly.
She should do an ad for Tinder. That's what her husband was on, or whatever. He was on some app. Go on.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And all I could focus on was how could you allow your mom to make those cookies with so much hair on her black t-shirt?
Oh,
I could not focus. I was like, you're literally going to serve hair with a cookie around it.
Dog hair? Human
Her
hair?
own hair. And I know this because my mom's a shedder. My mom sheds like a freaking golden retriever.
Do you
all
have
right?
those little lint brushes everywhere?
I certainly do. And
Yeah.
before she makes anything, she goes, do I have anything? Stands like Jesus on the cross. Do I have any hair on me? And we do a run through. We put the hair back. We do a second run through. And I thought, I'm so angry that you're telling your daughter that pleasure can become sinful when you're ready to serve your family hairy cookies.
Right. You know what's sinful? Making cookies with hair on your sweatshirt,
That is sinful.
lady.
Yeah, I
And they
I
cook
agree.
so much. The Mormons love to make a funeral potato. And I'm like, how horrific. I'm sure that the church is like so, they prep themselves. They're like, oh no, Becky's making the Jell-O. Be prepared.
Well, the reason Whitney got famous was, before I tell the story, her child is fine.
Okay.
Fine. But one of her kids, I think she's pregnant with number 4 now, but I think maybe baby number 2 or something, was when it was an infant, had RSV, or they thought he might. So he went to the hospital and, it turned out he was fine.
Okay.
But before she took him home, so he's in the plastic little like NICU crib,
Okay.
She
Is she the dancer? No, that's her.
I want to be with you. I love you. I want to be, and she's like, and then
In
she
the
has,
NICU?
Oh, I'm showing you.
yeah, and then
this
she has
video.
the writing, and she has the writing of like, when you think your child has SV, RSV, but he doesn't, I want to be with you. So the parodies that people are doing are so hilarious. It had a resurgence with the show, and people will be like dancing like that, and then their friend will be acting like they just like got hit by a car, and they'll be like, I love you. I want to be with you. I want to be with you. Yeah.
Literally. Sending prayers, but what happened?
Wait, this is real?
No, this is real.
Yeah, this is what she did like a year ago.
And then people are.
And so that was part of the show, which you did not get to, where she's like, I'm pissed because Taylor did soft swinging and then got pregnant out of wedlock, and she's not getting the kind of shit that I got for doing a TikTok dance when my child was in NICU. But she was like, I did the dance with the intention of I'm dancing because I'm so happy that my baby's okay. But then one of the other girls goes, no, she admitted to me off camera, off everything, that she did it for likes and follows and was happy that it blew up. But then it blew up for the wrong reason.
It is the weirdest. I cannot believe this is in the same world. I thought forever this girl is like #1 troll. She trolled us all. I thought it was a parody. That was a real.
That was the original. Yeah. Now everybody's doing it as a joke where they like I said, they have there's a log on their friend and they're like, I want to be with you. I want to be
Or
with
like
you.
their friends under a car squished and they're like, they're my friend. That is
I
horrifying.
have never talked so much about a show that I've never watched.
I know.
Holy shit.
Well,
Maybe I will watch it.
It is a hit. They got a second season. You never know.
Congrats.
Well, what I heard from a reliable source, they're filming 2 and 3 at the same time.
That's what they do for Selling Sunset. That's what they did in the beginning of Selling Sunset.
Kind of smart.
You know,
I've never
just
seen Selling Sunset
just
either.
got all their stuff out there.
Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Did I get all 3? I'm getting really good at that.